Hey everyone, Surreal Canine here. Welcome back for more Touhou 1. This is a video playthrough and tutorial of the Jigoku route for highly responsive to prayers on easy mode. Okay, second verse, same as the first verse. You gotta go through the HRtP shrine again to get to the Jigoku route in first place, so just go through stages 1 through 5 as normal. Notice here that I'm kind of trying to practice racking up a good bounce combo with the Yin-Yang Lord. Again, that's because the more cards you hit in a row with your ball without it touching the ground, the more they're worth. Of course, I still say getting the P items is your top priority. The slide kick is especially good for, or not the slide kick, just the regular slide is especially good for getting a good bounce combo going, since you can pretty much stay under the ball the entire time. Just watch your timing or else it might land on you. I've died a couple times that way in my practice runs. A lot of times you might find that there are a few cards left that you just can't seem to hit for whatever reason with the ball. In that case, feel free to use a bomb. There's definitely no shortage of bombs in this game, especially if you die a lot like I do. Also, while filming this particular segment, I noticed that the locations of the P items is not in fact fixed. They just seem to pop out of random cards. So just try to hope you get a good pattern like I did most of the time here. The key to getting a good time on the bosses is to learn how to change the direction of your ball. Like, you can see here that it takes a lot more time than it needs to if you just let it bounce off the other side of the screen. But if you slide kick in the opposite direction, the ball will end up traveling in the same direction as Reiiden. You can also shoot a card at the forward edge of the ball, but that's hard to time, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. Alright, welcome to Jigoku, otherwise known as Hell. This music's pretty great. It's called Strange Oriental Discourse, and it's probably one of my favorite songs in the game. The Hell route is actually a lot easier in my opinion than the Makai route. Partly because of card layouts, and partly because the bosses are stationary. They don't move around at all. Well, except for me, she actually moves, but the other two don't. If you end up getting stuck with card position... Wait, I already said that. Never mind. I'm just derping out here. Power slide gives your ball a lot of horizontal momentum, as you can see, so it's really great for clearing out a large number of cards. The downside to this is that it's extremely hard to hit again, unless you let it bounce a few times, but that kind of defeats the purpose of doing it in the first place to get a big combo. It's a good tact if all you care about is getting through a stage quickly, though. And now for everyone's favorite PC-98 character, Mima. Her first attack here is kind of awkward to dodge, but if you slip under it like I did, you shouldn't have too much of a problem dodging that, I think. The dart spam, on the other hand, I would just recommend using a bomb. I have not figured out how to dodge that yet. That flower formation of bullets, you can stand in the corner, use your Gohei to dodge it. You may notice by now that the yin-yang orb also clears out bullets. So if you can put that between you and the boss, you'll usually have a much easier time. Of course, easier said than done. Here we have even more dart spam. The darts are spaced farther apart on that attack though, so they're not quite as tricky to dodge. But yeah, most of Mima's patterns you can just dodge by standing in the corner and flailing your thing around. The lasers, on the other hand, not so much. Pay attention when she does that laser attack, because she's going to, as you can see, they explode like a second later, which is bad for you. Whoops. Bad timing on me getting hit there. Oh well. That's Mima. See you in Touhou 2. The song for this section is called Blade of Banishment. It's another one of my big favorites. The stages here aren't too much trouble, except for stage 12, which we'll be seeing as soon as I finish stage 11 here. This is where my problems controlling the ball start to become pretty obvious, when it's just down to one card. If you don't get lucky with a Ofuda shot like I did here, you can always just use a bomb. Now, the problem with stage 12 is the presence of these 4 bumpers. It's really hard to get the ball through them, so you usually have to go up and around. And then it can bounce any which way. I got really lucky on that shot since it bounced back and forth a few times, but yeah, the ball can sometimes get stuck there too. If that happens, you just shoot it out like I just did. Stage 13 I can only describe as wonky. You have a barrier covering the entire width of the screen, so the kind of combo you get depends entirely on your luck with teleporters here. I would recommend just focusing on catching the stuff that falls, because you can get a lot of points from your combo this stage if you're lucky enough. And that's only helped by the power-up items. Something I hadn't even thought of until I accidentally managed to slow down the ball is you can probably change the ball's trajectory up there with your Ofuda, and that would make it kind of easier to control and makes it less likely that you'd run into a teleporter too. Stage 14 here isn't too much of a problem. You've got teleporters, but considering the pattern of the cards arranged around them, it shouldn't be too much of a problem to hit them all, except for maybe those 2 above the bumpers there. Okay, really? Really, me? You went and did that? Yeah, it's about time. Notice that the song here is the same song as the fight against Ellis, but with a lower pitch. Anyway, the two keys to the battle against Kikuri are be patient and keep an eye on the ball. You can see here that her pattern is pretty easy to dodge if you stay in the corner, but if you get impatient, you're probably going to get hit with a bullet, or just miss with the ball like I did there. Since Kikuri doesn't move, it's really easy to rack up a combo hit against her, assuming you're not done. My performance here is kind of embarrassing, actually. I usually don't have this much trouble against her. Like, see there, I could have easily avoided that hit if I just didn't panic. These rings are super easy to dodge, especially if the ball happens to pass through them. I can't really vouch for my performance against that single bullet there, though. That was kind of dumb. Anyway, once her HP is in the red, she starts kind of spamming bullets all over the place. This is kind of more in line with the, what you'd usually expect from Touhou. It's pretty easy to dodge if you're just careful, and remember that your hitbox is shorter when you're sliding, so if you find yourself trapped, just remember that you might be able to slide under a bullet that's coming your way. I'm not entirely sure what's up with the Silent Shrine here. It's got the same background theme as the Hakure Shrine, Eternal Shrine Maiden, which is still one of my favorite tracks, but it's kind of weird that they'd use it twice. I'm wondering if maybe this was an error, or if it was just something else, or Zoom just being weird. Anyway, the main problem with the Silent Shrine is that bumpers, like the ones in the middle of the screen there, are really hard to see. In case you can't see it here, there's 3 of them. And they kind of make it hard to hit those cards way up there. Being kind of risky maneuver-tron with the power slide there, but it's okay, because I just kind of use a bomb anyway. Stage 17 is just like Stage 12. Lots of bumpers, it's kind of hard to get them in, but once you do, the ball should bounce around enough to clear out quite a bit. Try to avoid using the slide kick when you're, or the gohei when you're underneath the bumpers, because it can be really easy to just ricochet the ball right back into your face. You know, I've lost a couple of lives that way. Stage 18 is weird. The ball starts on the right side where you've got this huge bumper maze. I waited here to see if the ball would do anything, but nope, it just kept bouncing back and forth between the bumpers, so I had to shoot it out. This is probably where most of your time in this stage will be spent, but once you get over onto the left side, the stage kind of becomes a piece of cake. You can just roll along the left side there to clear out those cards, and it still counts as a combo for some reason, which is weird. Anyway, then you start engaging in slide shenanigans, and it should be easy to clear the rest of the cards out. Stage 19 is another one of those stages where it's really easy to rack up a combo, this time because of all the walls that are in the way. Of course, you might get bad luck with a power item dropped like I did just there, or not a power item, a pulling item. Anyway, just try to get the ball bouncing around between all the walls, and it should do the rest of the work for you. Of course, if the ball wants to be stubborn, you can always use one of your bombs, because you will probably die a lot against Kongara. Meet Kongara, the final boss of the Jigoku route. She may or may not be an enemy. Anyway, her hitbox is around her chest area, so try to aim there with the ball if you can. She's definitely not as easy to hit as Kikuri. This first pattern here, I'm not entirely sure if you can slide under it, but I tried to deflect it a few times. Watch out when she starts summoning her familiars, because they'll engage in the same kind of bullet spam Kikuri had in her final phase. With the ball bouncing around as much as it does, though, you shouldn't be hit by too much. Then you got this attack, which it's kind of hard to hit the ball when you have to devote so much of your attention to deflecting bullets, but if you manage to get a hit in with the ball during this phase, that's great. Then she'll do an upward laser attack as such, and you can probably get away with just swinging the Gohei once and being able to break through the wave of bullets there. Then she'll start doing stuff with her sword. If you're on the right side of the screen, you can dodge it just by running left, otherwise use the Gohei like I did there. The laser spam is kind of hard to dodge. Just try and fit in between the lasers if you can. It's more an issue of reaction time there. Anyway, then she'll make Then she'll make the waves of falling bullets with her sword, which is kind of wonky to dodge again. I think that's all of her attacks, though, so it's really just a matter of, oh no, she has this attack, which I forgot. You can kind of fit in between the bullets right underneath her hand there, but it's tricky, as you can see, because I got hit. Let's see if she has any more attacks before I comment again. I'm not entirely sure what's up with the palette swappery that goes on there. You notice that Kongara's tunic kind of turned green there when I used a bomb. I'm not sure what that's about. Might not be about anything. It might just be visual nonsense related to the bomb animation itself rather than the boss. Anyway, at this point in the fight, I managed to get really unlucky by just getting hit with a shot. But that opens up the perfect opportunity to just kill her with a bomb. Kongara doesn't have a second phase, so what you see here is pretty much what you get. It's just a matter of surviving. So, yeah. Bomb your way to victory, and I do not know what those kanji mean, but that's Touhou 1. I will be seeing you next time with Story of Eastern Wonderland. Bye-bye.